Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're ready to get started with some introductions. If you don't know me already, I'm Kelly. I'm Culikid's Executive Director. And Culikid, we're a nonprofit that provides healthy culinary programs for all abilities. And we try to teach not just cooking, but also healthy habits, social independence, and motor skills. The class is being recorded, and we love to see what you guys are working on so we can pace ourselves and we can answer questions. But if you don't want to be in the recording, you can turn your camera off, or you can also let me know in the chat if you don't want to be in screenshots and stuff like that. Okay, everyone is muted, but you can unmute yourself to ask questions, and you can also use the chat. I have my dog here with me. Is there any background noise right now from the squeak toys? Can anybody hear that? Yeah, okay. We're gonna just like have her go into the other room. Come on, come here. Sorry. Here you go. Okay, wash the hands from the squeaky toys. All right, thank you for your patience. I wanna let you know we have another class coming up next weekend. It's gonna be fruit popsicles. Our chef Sophia is gonna teach that, and there's gonna be a lot of different options, and including dairy-free ones. So that will be super fun for a hot summer day. We also have a bake-a-thon ongoing. Some of you are registered, so great. Track your cookies, enter them. If you're not registered, we have a bake-a-thon going on through August 21st, and you can join even though we're midway through. You bake cookies, you ask some friends for some donations and pledges, and then Culikid gets those. So you'd be having fun baking cookies and supporting us at the same time. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them at the end. And I'll send you guys some links about that. We also like to see our pictures. If you're cooking with someone at home, ask them to take pictures, send them to us, tag us on social media. I'm gonna send a bunch of stuff in the chat right now. And we can get started. We are not going to preheat our oven because we need to chill these cookies. So we're not baking them right away. They need to chill first before we get to baking. So that's a step we can skip for now. All right, getting the last one.
Wait, say that again.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our cookie dough, form them into cookies, and then put them in the fridge right after class instead of putting them right into the oven. Okay, so normally when we start with baking something, we start with preheating our oven, but we are not going to do that step today. Okay, so you're gonna, I'll go over all this at the end. All you need to know is we're ready to start cooking. You don't need to do anything with your oven. Okay, so, excuse me, sorry, I think I have a sneeze coming, so that's all right. Okay, so we're gonna get started with melting butter. So for this, we need 3/4 cup of butter. So if you're doing sticks, 1 stick is 1/2 cup. So you need 1.5 sticks. If you're measuring, just measure 3/4 cup. So I'm gonna do mine on the stove. Switch that over.
So first we're gonna make our cookie dough.
Yes.
But we're not gonna preheat, we're just gonna put it in the fridge. And next
right.
up is now we need 1/2 of the size of the butter.
Yeah, so the butter, you need 3/4 cup. If you are doing sticks, you need 1.5 sticks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so you can do it in the microwave, and you want it to just be melted, so you can do it in like 30-second intervals until it's melted. I'm just gonna put it on my oven, on my stove.
Hey Kelly, my dad told me that I gotta make it a little bit, so what can I do?
What's your question?
Well, I just have that my dad told me that I gotta make it a little bit, you know?
You're gonna make it in a little bit?
Yeah.
No, saying you're only gonna do a little bit, not too much.
Well, I'm gonna do it a little bit, not too much.
Oh, you don't wanna make, so this recipe is gonna make 18 cookies. If you wanna make less, you can cut the recipe in half.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we got, I just have this on like medium heat. We just wanna get it melted. So it's starting, but my butter is pretty cold. It's gonna take a little while. Keep an eye on that. As soon as it's all liquid, turn your oven off and set it to the side. Whoops, I have you on like nothing here. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna repeat that in the chat just because there was a lot of words said, a lot of measurements. Melt 3/4 cup butter. It's best when we're baking to do unsalted butter or with anything where you really wanna be able to control the salt level. So we're gonna add salt. If you have salted butter, you can cut down on the salt we add. Unsalted butter is usually best. Move this too. Okay, and again, you can do that in the microwave or you can do that on the stove. Microwave, you like want to do it in intervals, so 20 seconds,
Oh,
30
first
seconds.
the butter, so what's next?
So did you finish melting your butter?
It's starting to melt.
Okay, so we're gonna do that until it's melted. Mine is starting to melt too. And you might already be done if you used the microwave. You might be done if your butter was a little bit warmer. So mine is still going.
My butter is starting to melt.
Great. Okay, anybody who is ready for the next step, we're not gonna do it yet, but we are gonna start. I'm gonna go a little bit of out of order of the recipe. We're gonna start with our flour. All right, and mine is getting there. You can still see there's sticks in there, stick shape. So I'm gonna just talk about our bowls so we know what we're using for what. So I have two different size bowls. One slightly larger. The larger one is going to be like for our butter and sugar. And the slightly smaller one is going to be for our flour. So if you have different size bowls, your medium bowl, your smaller bowl is what we're going to start with, okay?
My butter's almost finished, about melting.
Awesome, mine too.
So what's with this white stuff, Kelly?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly the scientific reason for it, but that is normal when you melt butter.
Maybe it was from the butter?
Yeah. Okay, mine is all melted. I'm turning my stove off and I'm setting it off to the side.
Mine too, Kelly.
Awesome. So I'm gonna come back over here. Why is it still bubbling? Okay. So if you haven't been in the Culikid class before, when we're ready to move on, we wanna make sure we're all in the same step together. So I'll just ask you to give me-
melted butter, Kelly?
Yeah, if you're done. So I'm gonna ask you to give me a thumbs up when your butter is melted and you're ready. Awesome, I see Caitlin and the Judsons. And Andy, is that how you say your name? Okay, awesome. Thanks, Rachel.
And the white stuff on the butter is actually milk solids coming up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Enrique, your butter is done, thumbs up. Thank you, and Sophia, just let me know when you're ready with the thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, I think that's everybody. If I ever miss anybody and you need more time, let me know. We're gonna move on to measuring our dry ingredients, starting with our flour. So for our flour, we need 1 cup and 3/4, 1 3/4 cup. So I have a 3/4 measuring cup, so I'm doing this in 2 parts. If you don't have a 3/4 measuring cup, you'll have to do a 1/2 cup.
I'm doing a 1/2 one.
Yep, so if you don't have this, you need a 1/2 cup, a 1/4 cup, and a cup. okay? If you're halving the recipe, just cut that in half. You have to do a little bit of math. Okay, so the best way to measure our flour is to scoop it so it doesn't get packed. So I'm using a spoon here. Let me show you. Okay. Scoop. So you want 1 3/4 cup. I'll put that in the chat after I'm done with this cup. So I've overfilled it, and then I'll use the back of my spoon to level it off. And putting it into our medium bowl. All right, let me put that measurement in the chat for you. Oops. Okay. And then, so that was just 1 cup, so I'm doing 3/4 next. All right, and then we scoop. We want to make sure we have a nice level cup. And in it goes. I think we'll need both of those measuring cups again, so hang on to them. And
what is that? A blender?
What? That was my flour.
From that, wait, is that the same thing? Flour?
This is flour. So all we have in here is the flour. Okay, hang on to your measuring cups. And who is ready for the next ingredient? Thumbs up when your flour is in. Everyone, I think. Okay, so we will do our salt. It's going to be 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so I'm going to pour nice and slowly, but if you can't, you know, your salt is too heavy, or you might not be able to pour as controlled, you can pour your salt into a small container and then scoop out your measurement from there. So we want 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And if you did use salted butter, you can cut it down a little bit, or you can keep it. You know, salt is a nice balance to our sweetness and our chocolate. And then I'm going to give you the next one too, because we're doing little measurements. I'll check in when you're done with that. It's going to be 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so baking soda. We have our 1 teaspoon. And for this, we want it to be level again. I'm scooping into the box and then using the top of the box to level it off on the way out. Okay, if that's too tricky, just do it like you would do anything. Scoop it and then level it separate. Done with that. Okay, and when you have your salt and your baking soda in the bowl with the flour, let me see a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, saw a bunch of you, I think that's everybody. If I ever say, oh wait, are you still working, Andy? Okay, let me know with thumbs up when you're done. There's no rush. Awesome, thank you. I think everybody's ready. So we're going to mix this together by whisking, okay? So it's easiest to mix your dry ingredients with a whisk. You can't see when it's all combined because it's all white, right? So it's kind of hard to see, but just, you know, mix it a few times, make sure you're scraping around the sides, the bottom, mixing it all up. You can't over mix it at this point, right? So, and it will get mixed up again later, so. All right, so that's good for me. We're gonna set that to the side and then grab our big bowl, okay? So when you have your flour mixed and you're ready with your next bowl, give me a thumbs up. Cool, 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 I'm seeing a lot of you. I think I might have not seen, okay, awesome. I think that's everybody. Anybody need more time? Hands up if you need more time. Okay, cool. You guys are so speedy. Let's do this. We're gonna start by mixing together both of our sugars and our butter. So I'm still setting my butter to the side to let it cool. So I'm gonna start by measuring my brown sugar, okay? So this one is a little bit different from our usual measurements that we kind of scoop and level off. This one you want to pack in, okay? So if you don't know what that means, I'm going to show you right now. And the way I always like to think about it is like a sandcastle, okay? So you need it to be filling up the cup like you're making a sandcastle so it comes out all nice and full. All right, so I start by pouring, if you're able to pour, or scoop if you want to scoop, and then pressing down,
Well,
right?
how many?
It's 1 cup. Got it? So once it's gotten to the top, I press it in, and then I add more, press it in, add more until it's right level at the top. Okay, made a little bit of a mess, but that happens. I've got a nice packed cup here, and you can see I can turn it out into my hand and it keeps the shape of the cup. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, just like a sandcastle. Put it into your bowl. I'm gonna tidy my station, rinse my hands, and then I'll check in to see if you're all ready for the next ingredient. And keep hanging on to that 1 cup because we'll need it at least one more time. I think just one more time. Oh, here we go. Okay, thumbs up when you've got your brown sugar in. Okay, I think that's most, or you're currently working on it right now, which I see, awesome. Give 1 more minute. I like that measuring cup, Andy, because it really is like a sandcastle. You could really make a sandcastle using that thing. Okay, I think we're ready for sugar. So this one's just our white granulated sugar. And this one we need 1/3 of a cup. Okay, so that's 1/3. And I'm just gonna scoop it. Shake it off a little bit. And we come out with a perfectly level 1/3 cup. And it goes into the bowl with our brown sugar. Okay, so that's what I have right now, brown sugar and white sugar. See, I'm still measuring, so wait a minute. Thanks, Sophia. Sorry, it's blocking my screen, 1 second. There we go. Okay, is everybody ready? It looks like it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna get our butter in. You can just pour it, but I like to make sure we get every drop. So I love using a rubber spatula for something like this. And you can really scrape the whole thing. So you can just pour it in right over your butter. That is butter, right over your sugar. And then I'm taking the spatula to just scoop the sides and the bottom to make sure I got it all. Okay. And then once you've done that, you can mix it, okay? So I'm gonna break up my brown sugar a little bit, scrape the sides. Keep our sandcastle theme going. We're looking for like really, really wet sand here. Okay, and it should all look wet, no dry sugar, no dry sand. Okay, and make sure you're scraping the bottom and kind of folding up so that way you don't let any sugar stick to the bottom and remain dry. So that's what we should look like when you're done. Let me see thumbs up when you're all done mixing the sugar and butter. Okay, thanks, Rachel. And I think Caitlin. No worries, Enrique, you can keep going. Keep mixing, thanks, Sophia. Okay, we're not moving on yet, so keep mixing. We're gonna next crack some eggs. Thanks. So first one, we're gonna crack the whole egg, and then second one, we're gonna separate the eggs. Okay, so has anybody, who's cracked an egg before? Raise your hand if you've cracked an egg. Okay, a lot of people. Good, nice. Who has cracked and separated an egg yolk and egg white? Anybody? Okay, a handful, but this might be new for some people. That's okay, that's why we're gonna do it in class. All right, I think that everybody looks like they're done mixing, so we're gonna go on to our eggs. So remember, the first one, we're just gonna crack regular. And when we crack them, we always recommend cracking them into a separate bowl. So that way you can double check for your eggshells and all of that. So I have my small bowl here and my egg. You wanna give like the pressure for a soft knock. So like something like that, right? Not too hard that you're gonna smash your egg and not too gentle that you can't crack it. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, like a knock. Where my crack is, I'm gonna open it up and drop it in, okay? On the counter is best compared to the edge where you're more likely to get shells. If you do, you can scoop it out. You can scoop it with your hand with a spoon or with the eggshell. So I'm checking, mine doesn't have any eggshell, so I'm gonna put it into my sugar butter mixture. Okay. So let's see, thumbs up when you're all done with that.
So am I putting the egg in the brown sugar?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, okay. Saw a bunch.
Hey, Kelly, is it like this?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we want to put in the yolk only of our second egg. And we're not going to use the white. So you can either throw out your white or you can save it for something else. So I actually need a second bowl here. And if you want, you can watch me first and you can use the egg shell. So I'm going to crack the egg in half and you can use the shell to go back and forth until you've dropped the egg white into a bowl and saved only the egg yolk. Or you can even use your hands. Sometimes I find the hands just easier, but I'm going to show you with the shells. Okay, so this is where my white is going and this is where my yolk is going, or if I catch it, I can just throw it right into the thing. Okay, so I'm cracking, I got my crack, and now I want to open it kind of like upright. It's over my bowl and I'm letting some of the egg white out. I've kept the yolk in my egg, okay, but there's still some extra white. I don't know how much you can see, but this is all filled with white. So I'm gonna pass it into the other eggshell, letting some white drip off, pass it back, pass it back, pass it back, until you have no whites left, you just have a yolk. And then what I meant with the hands is if you just crack your egg and you put it into your hand like this, and you kind of separate your fingers a little bit, okay, you can let the white will drip out from under your fingers. It might not be a pleasant feeling experience for people who don't like that, but you got your one egg yolk, perfect, and into the bowl it goes. Okay, so everybody try that. And then if you've done it with your hands or you get any on your hands, which you probably will, make sure to wash them really good and wash your surfaces really good. Okay, so you don't want to be contaminating anything with your raw eggs. Okay, so go ahead and try that. I'm going to clean up my hands on my station and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, and so if you don't have, if you're not going to use your egg yolk, your egg white, you can throw it out, but you can just like save it if you're going to be making something that you need egg whites for, like meringue, or if you just want to make like a little egg white omelet. If you're not a fan of egg white omelets, you can use like kind of mix it up with your regular eggs. You still get that like yellowish from the yolk. Okay, so We have a full egg and an egg yolk in with our butter and sugar. Thumbs up when you're all there. Okay, awesome. Rachel, Enrique, Andy, Sophia, Caitlin. And if you just joined, we're going a little bit out of order, but we've mixed together our dry ingredients. We've mixed together our wet ingredients besides our vanilla. And that's where we're at. If you wanna catch up, or if you wanna just watch the rest of the time, that's cool too. I think that was everybody. So great job to everybody who successfully separated your egg.
What's after that?
Especially if it was your first time. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our vanilla. Okay, so we got vanilla extract and we're gonna do 2 teaspoons. So I've got my teaspoon here. Okay, fill it up, pour it in, that's 1. And again, that's 2. Okay. And now we mix. All right, so I'm gonna just like give my eggs a little head start by breaking up my yolks. And I'm gonna start mixing. And so we're doing like this little folding action where we're scraping the bottom and folding it onto the top. We're bringing what was on top to the bottom, what was on bottom to the top. Okay. All right. So it's all mixed. I no longer see like any eggs hanging out by themselves. They're fully incorporated with my sugar and butter. And that's the place we want to be at. So when you're there, give me a thumbs up. But no rush and keep mixing. Oh, thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Caitlin. Enrique, thank you. Melissa, gotcha. All right. Andy and Sophia, thumbs up when you're ready. Cool, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to combine our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. So we have our butter, sugar, eggs. We have our flour mixture. We're putting the flour into the butter and sugar, right? So that's why we did the butter and sugar in the bigger bowl, because that's what's gonna have everything in it. So I'm just scraping all of my flour in, making sure you don't have like a lot stuck around the sides. And now we're gonna gently fold this together. And then this is what's gonna look like our cookie dough. Again, you wanna make sure you're scraping your sides, your bottom, folding it all together. And we'll know we're done when we don't see any more dry white flour. Almost there, so I'm scraping now to get all that extra dry flour off. and targeting the areas that have my dry flower spots. And now I think we got to a good place. Okay, so we're all mixed, all combined, no dry spots. And good. So when you are there, let me know with a thumbs up. And then we'll do all of our mix ends. Thanks, Rachel. Gets a little tough towards the end, right? So now we're going from liquid to more of a solid here. So you might have to put some muscle into it. Tidy up a little bit so I have some space to work. Thanks, Enrique and Sophia. Okay, are we all ready for some mix-ins? Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we are going to, let's start with our chocolate. Yeah, okay, so the recipe calls for dark chocolate. You can use whatever chocolate you have. We're gonna do about a cup. So if you have chips, just measure out a cup. Is anybody chopping chocolate? I'm sorry, I'm not chopping myself. Okay, okay, cool. Let me just show you, I don't have the chocolate myself, but I'll just show you what we wanna do. So, like
what
get
are we gonna use about the chocolate? Are we gonna use this one?
Yes, yes. So I have chips, so I don't need to cut them, but I'll show you, get about what you think is gonna end up being like a cup or however much you wanna use, right? And I'm gonna show you the movements with the knife. So this is like, so pretend this is a block of chocolate. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can start by doing cuts across this way and then turning and doing cuts across this way. But it's like different than if you were like,
how am I gonna need for the chocolate chip?
You need it to be, when it's cut, it needs to be about a cup. Oh, you had chocolate chips. Yep, so you can just measure a cup of that. Okay, so if you're chopping, go ahead and give that a rough chop. It can be any size you want. It can be about, you know, the size of the chocolate chips, or it can be, you know, bigger if you want bigger pieces, like the chunks. So I have chips and chunks, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna measure, and when you're cutting though,
so after when I made the one the half a cup, then you need to cut it.
Sorry. Oh, if you have chips, you don't need to cut them. If you have chocolate chips, just measure it. If you have a block of chocolate, you want to cut it up so it's about that. Cool. Okay. So I just want to go back to the movement because we're not doing where we do our bear claw so much. And so we're using our other hand to kind of stabilize the knife and do some rocking motions back and forth. That's how you can chop up your chocolate. Okay. So I'm going to go back to measuring. Anybody have questions on chocolate? Let me know. And again, do whatever size you want if you're chopping it up. If you want some really big chunks to get into, go for it. I actually need one more bag. Okay, so when you're done with your cup, go ahead and put that into your dough. We're not gonna mix just yet because we're still gonna do our graham crackers. All right, is everybody good with chocolate? Take your time, but thumbs up when you are. Okay, Rachel, Enrique, Caitlin, Sophia. Okay. I know we're still chopping, so that's fine. Take your time, we got the time. Oh, yes. If you're making gluten-free cookies, you can omit the graham crackers. The only other thing is making sure that you're doing gluten-free flour. And I think marshmallows are generally gluten-free. Yeah, seems to be. So I think that's the only thing you need to do. Gluten-free flour, omit the graham crackers if you have like fancy gluten-free graham crackers. Okay, so let's get on to our graham crackers now. So if you're using them, they're not like the hugest flavor that you're getting in this. So if you omit them, it's totally fine. If you don't have them, it's totally fine. It's not going to change like the tech, like the makeup your cookie or anything. So we're just going to break them. And last time when I made them, I felt like I didn't get a lot of graham cracker flavor. So I'm going to keep my chunks even bigger than last time. So I'm going to just break them in half. So I'm just dealing with this. And like this size is going into my cookies, okay? So it can be whatever size you want. If you want it to be like much, much smaller, go ahead. But just like break them up. Okay, so I'll show you a few more pieces. All different sizes, and I obviously have smaller pieces in there, but I mean, this is kind of as big as I would go. All right. And it can be all different sizes, doesn't matter. So that way you get some littler ones and you get some big chunks. So I started with half, but we're using all 4 sheets. So I'm doing my next half now. Okay. I'm just gonna give my hands a little rinse because they're a little crummy. Okay. Feel good. All right, so now you can mix. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I know I didn't do a full check-in. I'm actually gonna switch to my wooden spoon. It's a little bit sturdier. And then also you'll see like your graham crackers are probably gonna get like a little bit more broken up from the mixing, which is fine.
Kelly, do we do 4 like half squares or like 4 sheets for the bigger?
Yeah, 4 full sheets.
So like, okay, that'd be 8 halves. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and you just want to mix until it's combined, but make sure that you are getting it all the way through, right? Because you want all of your cookies to have some chocolate and some graham crackers in. You don't want to have any cookie dough left on the bottom that might not have any of your mix-ins. Okay, that's what we're looking at for me. All mixed. Oops, trying to take. So let me know when you are mixed as well. Give a thumbs up. Thank you, Rachel and Caitlin. Good job, everybody. We are in the home stretch here. This is where it's tempting to snack too. Thanks, Judson and Enrique. All right. Just don't see Sophia or Andy in screen. So give me a thumbs up when you are both ready. Thanks, Andy. And Sophia, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we are going to do one more thing and then we'll form our cookies. So we are going to slice our marshmallows in half. So, oh, they're a little sticky, that's all right. I think they squeeze them up too much.
Kelly, can we do scissors just to chop them?
Totally can, yep.
Okay.
Love that. I love anything that's like easier and not using a knife. So yeah, we just want to cut them in half. So you can use scissors, you can just use a knife. And last time I made this with this small cookie scoop. So if you have that size, I made exactly 18. Okay, so we'll cut 9 in half. If we might like, you know, different day, different scoops, different feelings. Maybe we'll make a few more, maybe we'll make a few less, we'll see.
Yeah, we could, let me get a plate. Hi, ladies.
Now they both want to help out.
Okay, so 9 marshmallows in half. 1, 2, 3 so far. Four. Five. Okay, little sticky, but that's okay. If you have small marshmallows, you don't need to cut them in half, and then you could use like a handful that would be about the size, so maybe like 3 each for each cookie, and I'll show you what I mean that we're doing with the marshmallows in a moment. Okay, mine are sliced. My hands are sticky, so washing them one more time. Well, not one more time. One more time for now. And then what I want to have on hand, okay, I'm going to set my marshmallows up here to the top. I've got my cookie dough bowl here. And then we're going to be making our cookies and we need some place to put them. So on a plate, on a tray, whatever works. And then I've got my cookie scoop, okay? So that's how I'm set up for my next thing. I'm gonna move everything I don't need. I got 4 things: cookie dough, marshmallows, plate, and cookie scoop. That's what you should have when you're ready for the next step. So thumbs up when you are ready. Rachel, thank you. And Enrique, and Caitlin, Sophia, Andy looks ready. Am I right? Yes. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna show you what to do because we're gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again. So if you're still working on your marshmallows, keep working, that's totally fine. I'm gonna show this 18 times. So I am going to start, so I have this small cookie scoop. If you don't have one, you wanna be scooping, like you'll just have to eyeball it a little bit more to try to keep your cookies the same size, but you can use a regular spoon. I love the cookie scoops because they make it so easy to release it. So I'm scooping a very even amount because we're gonna add more to this later, okay? So I've scooped and I'm gonna put it in my hand. I make like a little dent in here and one of the marshmallows is going in there. Okay, now I'm taking another scoop, putting it on top of the marshmallow. And then I'm going to just like squish it with my hands all around. Okay, until you cannot see that marshmallow anymore. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do to make these. So there, it's like, you'll see the dough is really soft and you're touching it a lot. That's why we need it to go into the fridge when it's done. So that way it doesn't completely like melt out all over your baking tray. So do it again. So I've got a cookie scoop into the hand, press down a little place for my marshmallow to go, marshmallow in, scoop on top, and smush it down around, okay? So because of the angle of my computer and my messy hands, I can't see anything in the chat. So if you have any questions, please unmute and say it out loud. Okay. So each cookie is having 2 scoops worth of dough. So we're just starting out with 1, creating a place for our marshmallow, and then scooping. And to get a nice even scoop, you'll see I'm pressing it against the bowl, right? Because if I didn't, I might have like a ton like this, and that's gonna bake at a different time than one with less cookie dough. Okay, we smush it around and make sure we cover up that marshmallow. So when you bake these, your marshmallow, your cookie dough is gonna spread and your marshmallow is gonna end up peeking out. So if your marshmallow is peeking out a lot right now, it might really, really puff up. I haven't played with it this way, but you'll get your marshmallow peeking out in the end. If you have it a little bit out of your cookie dough, you know, I'm sure that everything will be fine. So no stress. All right. They look like they're pretty big cookies, but they turned out to be pretty good, in my opinion. Pretty good size. Okay, so my cookie, making a place for the marshmallow. Oh, stuck together marshmallows. Covering it up. If you're part of our bake-a-thon, don't forget to add these cookies to your count. You can also email me your number and I can update it for you. And if you're not in our bake-a-thon and you want to be, you can sign up through the link that I sent in the chat. And I'll also send an email on Monday. Okay, as we're doing more and more, I'm getting a little bit of cookie dough sticking to my hand. So if you need to stop and like rinse your hands in between, go ahead. But you can also just do it at the end. This one's gonna be nice and chocolatey. Oh, these are gonna be so good. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, and if anybody's like, if you guys are super speedy and get done before me, let me know if you have any questions about what to do next. They're gonna go right into the fridge, and I'm gonna stop in a second so I can double check our baking times and all of that. I can give you the information you need. My plate is full, so I'm gonna stop here, but keep going until you're done. I'm going to get another plate and finish, but I'll probably do that after class, just so I can see where you all are. Good job, everybody. Okay, so I'm just putting in your instructions for this in the chat so you can reference it. I know it's like hard. I find it hard to listen to a lot of numbers. Okay, so when you're done.
Kelly, I'm done.
Awesome, Enrique. So I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to do right now, okay? So when you're done, you want to refrigerate the cookie dough for at least 1 hour. It can be longer, so you don't have to bake them in 1 hour. It can be later tonight, or it can even stay overnight. And then when you're ready to bake, you're going to bake it in an oven at 350 for 12 to 14 minutes. Okay, so you want to see just like a little bit of golden browning on the edges of your cookie if you want it to be nice and soft in the middle. So 12 to 14. Okay. And make sure you're refrigerating for at least an hour. So this is where it's a little tricky. We got to have a little bit of patience, right? Because when we bake,
10 hours? That's too much.
I know. We have to be a little bit patient. But if we don't, so here's the thing is you could bake it now, but what's going to happen is your butter is so soft. It was melted, right? When we used it, that when you bake it, your cookies are going to like just completely spread out on the baking sheet. They'll become really thin. And these are a lot better if they're a little bit chewier. So they'll become way too thin, too crispy. Your butter will melt everywhere and they'll probably melt into each other. You'll just have like this big mess. So to get the cookies that we're looking for, we want them to be in the refrigerator for an hour. It's hard to wait, but the reward will be worth it. So try to be patient if you can. I just resent those instructions. So you want to refrigerate for 1 hour. And then when you're baking, it's 350. The oven should be 350.
Yes, refrigerate for 1 hour.
And then you should bake them for 12 to 14 minutes.
So it'll be 350 degrees, right?
Right, when you're ready to bake, yes.
Kelly, one question.
Yeah.
When we did the mix-ins cookies last time, you mentioned that we needed a lot of space because they spread out. Are these kind of like similar that they'll spread out like that, where we want to do like 9 on a pan instead of smushing 12 or something?
Yeah, it's always better to err on that side, but if you refrigerate them, I mean, they'll spread out a little bit less. We do have a lot more cookie dough though, so it will become like a bigger cookie. I'm like, I think I actually have some in my freezer. Do I? Yes, I do. Let me see. They're not like that huge, right? So I think I did put 9 on a plate, but they are like this big, right? So they're not like teeny tiny. So you want to make sure, yeah, I would go for 9 probably. Spread out. Yeah. Great question. Thank you.
Show Melissa again then. Melissa,
yeah.
Look at these cookies.
Yeah, so that's what mine turned out like. And so you can see I got some of that marshmallow poking through, and they're like a pretty decent size, right? They're like the size of my hands. So they're gonna be a good size. You got that marshmallow right in the middle and all of our chocolate and graham crackers all around. All right, so that's what yours will hopefully look like as well. So yeah, to reiterate that, when you're putting them on the pan, go for maybe like 3 in a row instead of 4, or trying to get them all done at once. So definitely do batches or multiple pans. Okay. Any questions? Anybody want to show off your cookies? Awesome. Cool, great job, Melissa. Nice, Rachel. Great, great. Oh, Caitlin, good. I love it, I love it. All right, so when you're done, again, get those into the fridge. You also probably want to line your baking sheet with parchment paper if you have it, especially when we got like the sticky marshmallow and everything. It'll make it a little bit easier to clean up, keep them from sticking and all of that. Great job, Enrique. Those look awesome. Those look great. Did you finish all of your cookie dough? Great, great. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna repeat one more time, because then I'll let you guys finish this up on your own, and we'll say goodbye. So I just wanna repeat that we're refrigerating for at least an hour. This is also in your recipe. If you haven't gotten one, just send me an email. Refrigerate for an hour, then you can bake at 350 for 12 to 14 minutes. Okay, I always wanna check on the shorter side, because you can always bake longer, but you can't take it away. All right, any questions? All right, I think everybody looks like they're all set. So I'm gonna say goodbye, let you finish these up on your own.
And wait, Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly. So you said that you're gonna have to put this one in the refrigerator for 1 hour or maybe longer?
You can keep it in longer, but it should be in there for 1 hour at least.
Well, my dad is gonna take it out the fridge after dinner.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And bake it for 12 minutes. That's what I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat this after dinner.
That's a great idea, because if you bake them a little bit later, if you're gonna have dessert after dinner, bake it then, and you can have super soft, gooey cookies right from the oven. I mean, who doesn't want that?
All right, so yeah,
right.
So I'm not just gonna take out the fridge for 1 hour. So we'll take it out of the fridge at after dinner, okay, Dad?
Yep.
Yeah. So my dad's gonna take it out at the fridge after dinner. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so my dad is gonna put the cookies in the fridge, and when it was after dinner, my dad's gonna take it out on the fridge and get ready to bake for 12 minutes. And then I will.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Actually,
All
20
right.
minutes.
So everybody, thank you so much for baking with
And-
us today. I want to see those pictures. If you take them, please send them to me. Anything else, Enrique?
And eat it. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Great. I want to
Okay,
hear how they
thank
turned out,
you.
okay? All right,
right.
you're welcome. Everybody have a good rest of your day.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your cookies.
Okay, all right. Bye, Kelly. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Lynn. Bye, Rachel. Bye, Sophia.
Bye, Enrique.
Bye, Andy.
Bye.
Bye, Mirage.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Kay.
Bye. We'll see you
You
next time,
guys in the
hopefully.
next day.